Hi, friends. Our book for today is called Why Should I Recycle? Tilt it so you can see a little better. He's carrying a big box of recycling. They have all this recycling back here. Why should I recycle? The author tells me the illustrator. Let me see who the author is. The author is Jen Green. The illustrator is Mike Gordon. Why should I recycle? In my family, we recycle our garbage. We return things so they can be used again. That's what recycle means, right? We didn't always recycle. We used to throw everything away. Wow, that's them taking everything to the recycling. And here's when they used to throw it all in the garbage can. Look how full that garbage can is. On our way to school, we always pass Mr. Jones's house. Mr. Jones is our teacher. One day, we saw him putting a special box with cans, bottles, and papers by the gate. "What are you doing?" he asked Mr. Jones. "This box is for recycling. All these things are taken away and used again," said Mr. Jones. "What's recycling?" Mr. Jones says, "I'll explain at school." In class, Mr. Jones asked us what we did with our trash. "We put it in the garbage can. It's just old garbage." Mr. Jones said garbage contained lots of useful things that can be recycled or used again. "Why should I recycle?" she's asking. She's holding a bottle that can be recycled. He's holding his old apple core, which can be composted. Mr. Jones took the class to a recycling center. It had separate containers for bottles, cans, plastic, clothes, and paper. "What do you think happens to all the glass that goes in here?" asked Mr. Jones. They have a recycling center where they take their things. We're kind of lucky because most of us have special people that come and pick up our recycling. We put it out like we put out our garbage. "It all gets broken down to make shiny new bottles." Remember, he asked, "What do you think happens to all the glass that is recycled here?" "It gets broken down to make shiny new bottles." "And guess what happens to all the cans that go in here?" asked Mr. Jones. There's a picture of all those glass bottles being broken down, and they get melted and made into new glass. Now he's asking them, what do they think happens with all those cans? Let's see. "They get melted down to make new metal things, such as bikes and scooters." "Wow," all the kids say. "And what about the paper and plastic that goes in here and here?" Mr. Jones asked. There's a lot of stuff being recycled there. "The paper gets shredded and used to make new books and new comic books. All these things come from garbage we just throw away." "This plastic can be used to make all kinds of things, including clothes. You might be wearing some," said Mr. Jones. "So why waste waste?" See, the kids are looking at all the things that are being recycled at the recycling center. "Most of the garbage we put in the trash can gets buried in dumps that spoil the countryside. It's good to recycle as much as you can," said Mr. Jones. Look, that's where when we don't recycle, all the garbage goes to places like this. It's a dump. It's where they collect all the garbage, and it's sort of yucky looking. It doesn't smell very good either. It's not real good for our environment. So what else can we recycle? "Clothes, books, and toys that you don't want can all be taken to the secondhand store," explained Mr. Jones. "They can also be taken to our kids' consignment sale." That's what happens at the consignment sale. Everything gets reused by new kids. "The food we buy at supermarkets comes in packages that can often be used again." "Don't waste, Mom." Look, she's showing her how that plastic bottle she was throwing away could be made into a pretty planter. And there's the thrift store or the secondhand store where things that have been used, gently used by the first owner, can be sold and used again. Reuse. Reduce, reuse, recycle. I told Mom and Dad about our trip to the recycling center. Now we buy recycled things at the stores. Recycled paper helps to save trees. Sometimes we can buy things that have been made from recycled things. We always recycle the plastic bags too, or we bring our own bags. So when you go to the grocery store and you get plastic bags, you can take them back to the grocery store to be recycled, or you can take your own bags that are reusable over and over and over again. We also recycle everything at home. Fruit and vegetable peelings get recycled in our new compost heap. The compost helps my mom's prized vegetables to grow. Remember, composting is the thing that I said you can do with food waste and leftover scraps and stuff from dinner can go in compost. It's a little bit complicated, but there are people that do it. And you can use what comes from the composting to help grow your plants. It's good fertilizer. It's good food for the plants. Now we recycle so much garbage, there's hardly any left to put in the can. Remember their trash can at the beginning of the story? It was so full, the little girl was standing on it. It was way full. Now it's almost empty. Almost nothing is going to the dump. Recycling is kind to nature. It saves money and it's fun. So, we've had a book, 2 books now on reduce, reuse, recycle. We're doing some artwork using recycled things. On Friday, we'll talk more about recycling since we've already covered reduce and reuse. See you then.